So when it comes to the sex game and why the sex toolkit is important, there are only two types of people. It's going to be the ones that get sex for free. Then there's going to be the ones that pay for it. And what's good for you is that you'll have a slight advantage over the ones because the majority are the ones that pay for it. How is that? Basically, when you go up and approach a woman for the first time, what a lot of you guys don't know, and like I always tell you, sex starts the first time you meet. It's not later on. But for the guy that pays for it is the one that starts it later on and doesn't start it at the beginning. So let's talk about him first, and then we'll roll into the guy that puts it up front and what the difference is and why you need more of them than the other on this side. See, the guy that doesn't know himself well, doesn't know what he's doing, what he's going to do is he's going to pander for the pussy. That means he's going to do things to try to get something that he should be getting automatically. What he's going to do is he's going to really change who he is. He's going to start begging, bartering as far as dinners, drinks. Let me take you out. Let me spend money on you. And based off of the skill that she sees in him, that's what he's going to have to produce financially. So if he's not really skilled, let's say he's not a skilled individual, he doesn't know what he's doing in the bedroom and all the other stuff. In order for him to even get the sex from that woman, he's got to be able to fill up that hole with more dinners, more drinks, expensive things to get to the point where she then gives it to him based off of the money that he gives her, borrowing for it. Now, what we want you to do on your side, and this is why we always talk about not telling a woman right off the bat that you just want to fuck and all the other stuff like these other motherfuckers are telling you. What we want you to do is use the courtesy. Why? Because see, the courteous man is also the man that is going to respect her, in her mind, is going to respect her sexually. And I don't mean respect her sexually as like, okay, I'm going to respect your, like, you know, I'm going to be a respectful guy and I'll be nice and slow. No, she's going to understand that this is the kind of guy that if he's courteous in the beginning, that means he's not going to be judgmental, and he's going to let her slowly warm up to being more sexual and things like that. So being courteous in the beginning is also sexual. Why? Because what you're saying is that, look, I don't need to run behind the pussy. I don't need to tell you I want the pussy. I don't even need to tell you I want to fuck. Because to me, and this guy we're trying to show you on this side, is this guy automatically knows the pussy is already his. Sex is already on the table. It's not even, you don't even have to bring it up or talk about it because you know it's already on the table. Whereas the first guy, he feels that it's not on the table, so he's got to buy his way in to get it on the table. But you walking up to her, talking to her, and approaching her the way we're showing you is that you already know sex is on the table. So you don't have to talk about or discuss something that's already yours. But then you say, okay, well, what's the next phase? Most guys won't even tell women why they are going up to them. Why am I approaching you? Why am I talking to you? See, the second phase is the reason why we want you to let her know why you're doing that is because you're saying, look, this is why I want to fuck. Because I caught you, you caught my attention, and now I'm going to put my sexual bid in. Now I'm letting you know. Because a woman that doesn't know, if you go on this side, is a woman that say, okay, he's got to work for it. But once you let her know the why, then she's like, okay, this guy's a little bit assertive. This guy knows what he's talking about. Sets it up. Now, the next thing is like, okay, you're saying, okay, but Steve, you always tell us to set the date up. Absolutely, we want you to set the date up. Why? Because you setting up the date automatically separates you from this guy over here. Because this guy over here, he's just happy to get a fucking number or exchange information. He doesn't know what he wants. Again, stacking up the paper. But on this end, by you setting up the date, you're saying, okay, look, I want to exchange information because, yeah, I'm trying to get to know you a little bit more because at the end of this, I'm trying to fuck without saying I want to fuck. See, a lot of these guys out there tell you they want you to put your bid in on fucking and all this other stuff as if these women don't know you want to fuck. But just because you set up the date doesn't mean you're actually going to go on the date. See, there was a great clip in Purple Rain, if ever y'all get a chance to see it, where Prince walked up to Apollonia at the mall, was talking a little bit of shit to her. Like we say, You've got to know the differences of the different types of sexual people that you have inside you, the personalities. Most guys don't teach you that. They just tell you to do one thing. But also having a sense of humor is also sexual to a woman. Being assertive is sexual to a woman. So you have different phases that you can do. Now, when you're on the phone with her or you're texting her, this is where you're showcasing to her why she should get with the other guys and have them pay for her, where she's automatically going to give it to you for free. See, this is where we separate everything. Just because I say I want to go on a date with you doesn't necessarily mean we're going to actually go on the date. Sure, if I don't have enough mouthpiece in me, yeah, I am setting up the date and I can go from that point. But once you get this sexual confidence in, it's when she's so busy looking at the bait, she doesn't see the hook. And the hook is what it is that you can give her that the other guys won't. That's why we love the other guys, what they're doing, because they don't know what they're doing. They think by buying her dinners and buying her drinks or doing stuff. But what you're doing is you're automatically separating yourself by why. The first approach, when you be courteous, when you tell her why you came over there, when you say, here's my number, call me. She says, no, here's my number, call me when you want to have a good time. You already have your bid placed in there. You got everything intact and in place. But just because you have it intact in place doesn't mean you're going to get the sex right away. This is where you got to put the work in, where your mouthpiece, your thinking and all this other stuff. And what roller coaster ride do you want to put her on? Now, for a lot of guys on this side, the who, what, where, why, boring Bob conversations, where you have the conversation classes, the texting toolkit, the types of women. You have these things where you can operate on a different game level, because at that point, okay, by talking to her, I know what type of woman she is, so now I know how to go at her. Because a lot of these other guys out there, they want to tell you that all women are the same. They want you to think that every woman is the same, so you're going to go at every woman the same. But here you're saying, Steve, but wait a second, don't you approach every woman the same? Absolutely, you approach them the same. Why? Because being courteous is not being sexual, flirty, or nasty, or dirty. It's just being courteous. Courteous has no race, creed, color. It's just you're being nice to her and showing her that, you know what, I'm a motherfucker that... See, a guy that has pussy already, the guy that gets pussy already, doesn't really care about the approach. I'm going to just be courteous and chill because I've been there before. I don't need to be thirsty. I don't need to let you know I want your pussy. You know I want your pussy as soon as I say hi. And that's the thing that these other guys don't tell you. They don't tell you that when you talk to a woman, she already knows that you're trying to fuck. But when you're trying to barter and beg for the pussy, she knows she has the high ground. And that's where a lot of guys fuck you over. But we're telling you here, and this is just a little class, we're saying here on this point of being able to be in a situation, as soon as she makes contact with you, what she's saying is, okay, you got my attention enough, what are you going to do? And at this point, it is what you do after this point that is going to either steer you toward getting it free, or push you towards having to pay for it, or make you fall off where you're not going to get it at all. So the thing that you got to learn here, because a lot of guys think they know about sex, but there's so many different layers to all of this that a lot of people don't know or don't explain to you the why. And that's sometimes for where a lot of you guys go wrong. A lot of guys, you fail, because just because you get her number and just because you put your bid in doesn't mean you have her yet. The game has not begun yet until you begin the chess game, not the checker game. So that's just what we want to just lay down. It's just a quick little simple reminder for you guys. The approach has nothing to do with it. It's what you do after you give the information, but it's also important of what you do during. Because if you don't put your bid in and let her know why you came over there, then that's going to be a problem. Now, again, there are a lot of people telling you just to walk up to these women and say, I want to fuck and all that. You can do all that stuff you want, but your chances of getting a woman are terrible because you don't know what kind of woman she is. And these guys are trying to tell you that, listen, all these women like sex, but they like it sex on certain levels and ecosystems. And there's so many different levels to this. So what I'm saying to you guys is keep being courteous. But the most important thing is, as long as you tell her why you came over there and instructing her, this is what I want to do, you're on the pathway to getting it free. Now, not saying that when she gets in touch with you, you still get it free, because at that point, you got to show her why it is she should give it to you free, as opposed to you having to pay for it with a bunch of dinners, taking her out like the regular guy does, okay? Anyway,